You've seen me working on this system for a long time. And the reason that I'm working so hard on this and trying to work out every little kink so I can use it as a disabled person is because I want it to look easy when I get to the event. And, it's really all in the prep. Welcome to the channel. I'm Brian. If you've never been here before, one of the OGs here on YouTube. Been around since like 2007 or something stupid like that. I don't need you to agree with me. I'm not here to tell you how it is. I don't want to sell you anything. I'm not asking for your money. But if you could, I'd humbly ask you to hit the like button. That would help the channel. I was thinking about weddings. How the client perceives what we do as relatively easy. Let's say that you're doing a reception-only event. You're facilitating some toasts with a wireless microphone. Then you're playing a first song and a father-daughter and a mother-son and then some dance music. Like, geez, you only put in 6 hours of time. Why do you want so much money to do this job? You didn't have that much time into it. Yeah, really? Look, not only did you have to select the right equipment to do this job, which you ultimately did. You selected the right wireless mic, speakers, the lighting. You had to bring it all there, set it up, and break it down. Everything had to work right. If that wireless mic screws up during toast, now you're the bad guy. So you couldn't buy a cheap one. You had to buy a good one. Not only that, but you've got some kind of notes going on, whether it be forms that you use, or if you do it like me, you just kind of do it on Word and everything's a custom document. You've got meetings. You've got music preparation. There's all kinds of neat stuff. You've got sleep. You've got rest. You've got to be ready to do this event. It's all in the prep. It looks easy because we've put the prep time in. Now, this gig I'm doing, starting at the casino in February, what am I doing? I'm pulling into the parking structure. I could do it in my 65 Mustang because it's so small. Ultimately, I'd like to put this in a jetpack glide system, wheel across the skywalk, down a hallway, through a couple casino floors, and there's already going to be a table and a stage set up for me. I set this stuff up. It takes 5 minutes. I do the performance with music videos. 4 hours later, I put it all in the bag. It takes 5 minutes. I wheel it out, and I collect the money. Pretty easy, right? Man, putting this system together is a lot of work. Again, especially for someone like me with uno mano. I mean, it makes a difference. I have to make it look easy. And the client may perceive that as, it's nothing. But it is something because you've put so much work into making it look easy. If I was not prepared, it wouldn't look easy. That wireless microphone thing, I did a video on it yesterday, kind of a dedicated one. I talked about it in the video previous to that. And a lot of people were like, well, why don't you just get a clip for the table or a boom stand or, so many different things. Here's what you're not thinking about, and I have to think about. They're providing the table, and I have no idea what the table's going to be. Is it going to be a banquet? I've requested 36 inches because that's what I feel like I need to perform. But what form is this table going to take? Am I going to have a place to clamp it? Is it going to be dressed? I don't know. So that's why I came up with a mic stand solution that was going to work under any scenario. It's a temporary stage too, so it could change at any time. So once I think they've got a permanent solution there, then I can start looking at some of these other options. I know it's going to be this, so I can put a clamp on it, or I can screw a grommet into it, or whatever the case might be. But for now, unknowns. I'm not going to know what this setup looks like until probably the night before we're going to do a dry run. I was there last week, and I took this picture. They do not have the stage set up yet. That is not the table I'm going to be working with. So they haven't even put it together yet. And who knows when they're going to. But I will see it the night before. And that's not enough time to make a plan on putting together something that might be a little more convenient than the stand that I built. It's all in the prep, guys. I'm telling you, every single bit of this stuff is in the prep. And it's like this with anything in life. Think about your mechanic. If his tools were an absolute mess, he wouldn't be able to find the wrench he needs to take your intake manifold up to swap the gasket. He's got to have stuff organized. He's prepped for this. Think about going to the doctor. You break your arm. Doctor sets your arm, I don't know what it is, 6 weeks later, take the cast off and everything's okay. It depends on how old you are. But yeah, the doctor went to medical school to learn how to do this and practice this stuff. They prepared for it. It looks easy. You're in and out of there, what, in a half hour? If there's no waiting room time? It's pretty quick. But it's in the prep. All of what we do is in the prep. Don't forget that. It's in music prep. In my case, it's video prep. I've got to get all this stuff ready for music video. That's a little different than music, which is what I've been focusing on. Now, here's the cool part. I know that I'm putting all this time into prep, and I was thinking about a system like this before I even knew this gig existed. I was just kind of preparing for the possibility of something like this coming up. I was doing videos about this, back in like October. So I was a little ahead of the game there. And once I got all the logistics down, where they're going to be providing me a table, I didn't have to use an X stand anymore. That was cool. Then I had to come up with the mic tabletop solution. And then I had to figure out how to hot swap it from a wired to wireless mic, because they're throwing a wireless mic at me. I got to have that on a stand because I can't operate a mic and a mixing board at the same time, which is what you want to do when you're making announcements. I know I do. I've always done it that way. I'm putting all this time into it. I'm putting all this energy into it. And I'm putting money into this. I'm spending money on this stuff. And once I have it down, yeah, my job's going to be pretty easy. Every week, it's going to be pretty easy. The first gig or two, I'm going to maybe see some things I didn't think about, where I've got to make a few little changes and tweaks, maybe to make my life easier, maybe to facilitate something I'm not thinking about. I'm trying to think about, the worst case scenario of what can happen here with equipment or with backup or with cabling or with anything. But if I miss something, I've got some time to work out the bugs. But once I work those bugs out, I've done prep one time for a recurring Saturday gig that's going to last who knows how long. And I don't have to worry about it anymore. I got all week to live my life, to spend with my kids, with my family, to work on my car, to cruise my car around, to have a little fun. Going back to when I was primarily doing weddings, which was kind of pre-COVID when I was doing a lot of that stuff. Every week I was so busy in prep for the wedding, just to get everything ready to go, and to do timelines, and to do music organization, or anything else that you can think of that's involved with the wedding. I didn't have time to leave the house. It's a beautiful 85-degree day outside. The sun is shining, the humidity is low. I can't go outside. I can't go for a ride in the car because I'm stuck inside doing wedding prep, or waiting for a phone call, or having a meeting when it's convenient for the client. I won't be doing this when I'm doing a Saturday gig that I don't need to do a lot of prep for. Yeah, I've got to keep up on my music, I got to keep up on my equipment, but that's not going to take me all week. That's going to be a little bitty time every week that I do. And something I haven't told you about, I don't think, maybe I did in the last video, I don't know, but there's the possibility of a Friday night gig popping up, a new Friday night gig. And once I have that written in stone, I can talk more about it. It has not been signed yet. But I'm going to very possibly be working every Friday and Saturday night consistently. The Friday gig is 2 hours long. The Saturday gig is 4 hours long. So once I have all the prep in for both Friday and Saturday, essentially, not counting driving time, which is probably 10 minutes there and back, I'm going to be working 6 hours a week. And let's just say that I put 2 hours in every week with prep, with gear maintenance, with downloading music videos and new audio songs, and just your general maintenance stuff. I'm going to have so much time to enjoy my life. Would I make more money if I did a wedding every week? Yeah, I would. Would I make more per hour if I did a wedding every week? No. Because you've got to count the day of, all the travel time, and all the prep. This is an edit. It might get loud, but there was something I wanted to mention in the video that totally slipped my mind. So I have this friend who may or may not look like a Keanu Reeves stunt double. And he said to me and others very publicly before that if you're not nervous before each event, it's time to quit because your heart just isn't into it anymore. I heard them say this several times. And finally one day I just said to him, you know what, I'm not nervous before my events. So what do you mean you're not nervous? Nope. Well, why not? I've done my due diligence. I've done the necessary prep for the event. That's number one. Number two, I don't take anything that I don't feel like I can pull off. I'm not biting off more than I can chew. Now that doesn't mean that I don't dread some events, because I do. I'll give you an example. The last event that I did, it was more of a tech gig. It was very detail oriented. It was 4 hours of hitting your cues just right, like every 2 or 3 minutes for 4 solid hours with a very rigid timeline. It's not my jam. It's not what I enjoy doing. It didn't feel artistic at all to me. It was a tech job. And I was happy to help them. But I wasn't enjoying it. So I did have some dread with doing this job. Was I stressed at all? No, I wasn't stressed because I knew what I was going to do. I had all of the music lined up. I knew what the times were. I knew what the order was. There was nothing to stress about. If I'd walked into the event without doing prep, it would have been incredibly stressful. I may have a client who is incredibly nervous. Well, you know what? Sometimes it does rub off on you, but that does not change my ability or inability to perform the task at hand. Just because a client is worried about something doesn't mean I need to be worried about it. I know I can do it. Otherwise, again, I wouldn't have taken the job. Where do nerves come in, though? I don't even know if you call it nerves, and I'll explain why. But sometimes I'm not playing it safe at events. I'm throwing songs out there that I'm not 100% confident are going to work, but I'm thinking maybe if I take a chance, it might pay off. I do this once I've really established that everything's going well. Everybody's happy. That's when I take the chances. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try it. And you throw it out there. You're either going to be rewarded by just going off like gangbusters, or you're going to clear the floor with it. Are there nerves involved there? Not really. And the reason there's not is because I don't do this without a backup plan. If I throw a song out there that I'm unsure of and it doesn't work, I've got something else that I can put on immediately that'll bring them back. So, yeah, the nerves thing doesn't come into play for me. Nerves are not good for you. Stress is not good for you. I always want to go in prepared, and I always want to go in confident on every job that I do. That's it. I'll turn the camera off. I'm going to try to chill for the rest of the day. You guys have a great day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time. Practice and enjoy.